The crowd screamed for blood. Thorn stood on the wooden platform. His black hood covered his face. His leather gloves gripped the axe handle. The weight felt wrong today. Too heavy, too real. He had done this 100 times before, maybe more. He stopped counting years ago. But today something twisted in his gut. The woman knelt on the execution block. A white blindfold covered her eyes. Her hands were tied behind her back. Her dress was torn and dirty. Her hair hung loose around her shoulders. Dark brown, almost black in the morning light. She did not cry. She did not beg. That made it worse somehow. The royal guard stood in rows around the platform. Their armor shined in the sun. The kingdom's flag hung above them, red and gold, the colors of power. Thorn lifted the axe. The crowd grew quiet, waiting. He looked at the woman's neck, pale, exposed. One swing. That was all it took. But his arms would not move. The captain of the guard stepped forward. "Executioner, proceed." Thorn's heart hammered. Sweat ran down his back under the heavy black robe. His fingers tightened on the axe. He had never hesitated before. Never. The woman tilted her head slightly, like she was listening, like she could hear something no one else could. "Executioner!" The captain's voice was sharp now, angry. Thorn raised the axe higher. The blade caught the light. The crowd held its breath. He looked at her hands, tied with rough rope. Her wrists were small, delicate. There was a mark on her left wrist, a scar, shaped like a crescent moon. His world stopped. The axe slipped from his hands. It hit the platform with a heavy thud. The crowd gasped. The captain moved toward him. "What is the meaning of this?" Thorn stepped back. His breath came fast. His vision blurred. That scar. He knew that scar. "Remove the blindfold." His voice was rough, broken. "What?" The captain stared at him. "Remove it, now!" Thorn's hands shook. The captain hesitated. Then he nodded to a guard. The man walked to the woman and pulled the blindfold away. She blinked in the sudden light. Her eyes were green, bright green, like spring grass after rain. Thorn's legs almost gave out. Those eyes. Leora? The name came out like a prayer, like a curse. The woman stared at him. Confusion crossed her face, then recognition, then horror. "No," she whispered. "No, it cannot be." The captain looked between them. "You know this woman?" Thorn pulled off his hood. His face was scarred, weathered, but his eyes were the same, dark brown, filled with pain. "She is my daughter." The crowd erupted. Thorn had not always been an executioner. Once he had been a blacksmith. A good one. He lived in a small village at the edge of the kingdom. He had a wife named Elena. She had hair like honey and a laugh that made flowers bloom. They had a daughter, Leora. She was born on the first day of spring, her eyes opened green and curious. She grabbed her father's finger and never let go. Elena died when Leora was 3. A fever swept through the village. It took 20 people in 2 weeks. Elena fought hard, but the fever was stronger. Thorn buried her under the oak tree by their house. Leora stood next to him. She held a daisy in her small hand. She did not understand that her mother was not coming back. "Papa?" She looked up at him. "Where did Mama go?" Thorn could not answer. His throat closed, his eyes burned. He picked her up, held her close. "Somewhere safe, little bird. Somewhere the flowers never die." After that, it was just the two of them. Thorn worked the forge. Leora played in the yard. She liked to collect stones, smooth ones from the river. She lined them up in patterns, circles, stars, hearts. "Look, Papa," she would call. "This one is you. This one is me. This one is Mama watching from the sky." He taught her to read, to count, to recognize the plants in the forest, which ones healed, which ones hurt. She was smart, quick. She learned everything fast. When she was 7, she asked about the scar on her wrist, the crescent moon shape. "You burned yourself," Thorn said, "when you were very small. You touched the forge. I was not watching close enough." Leora traced the scar with her finger. "Does it make me marked?" "It makes you mine." Thorn kissed her forehead. "So I always know you, no matter what." She smiled. "Good. I never want to be lost." But 2 years later, she was. The war came to their village without warning. Soldiers from the north. They wore black armor and carried torches. They burned everything: houses, shops, the church. Thorn grabbed Leora. They ran into the forest. Smoke filled the air. Screams followed them. "Papa, I'm scared," Leora cried. "Hold on to me." Thorn ran faster. Branches cut his face. His lungs burned. They reached the river. It was swollen from spring rain. Fast. Dangerous. The soldiers crashed through the trees behind them. Thorn had no choice. He jumped into the water with Leora in his arms. The current grabbed them, pulled them under. Thorn held tight to his daughter. He kicked, fought, broke the surface. Leora gasped. Her fingers dug into his shoulders. A rock hit Thorn's head. Pain exploded. His grip loosened. "Papa! Hold on!" Another rock. Another wave. Leora slipped from his arms. "Leora!" She went under. He dove, searched. His hands found nothing. Nothing. The current dragged him downstream. He fought it, screamed her name, swallowed water, nearly drowned. When he finally pulled himself onto the bank, the sun was setting. His head bled. His body shook. Leora was gone. He searched for 3 days. He walked up and down the river. He asked every village, every farm. No one had seen her. On the 4th day, soldiers found him. They arrested him for fleeing, for not fighting, for surviving when others died. They brought him to the capital city. They put him in chains. But they did not execute him. Instead, they gave him a choice. "Become the executioner," the magistrate said, "or die with the other cowards." Thorn chose to live, because maybe, just maybe, Leora was alive somewhere, and if she was, he had to find her. So he put on the black hood, he picked up the axe, he killed in the name of the king, and he searched. Every face in every crowd, every prisoner brought to the block, every woman with dark hair and green eyes, he searched for 17 years. And then she was there, kneeling, blindfolded, about to die by his own hand. They threw Thorn in the dungeon. The guards dragged him down stone steps, through dark hallways, past cells filled with prisoners. They shoved him into a small room and slammed the iron door. Thorn did not fight. He sat on the cold floor, put his head in his hands. Leora was alive. His daughter, his little bird, after 17 years. But she was a prisoner, condemned to death, and he could not save her. He could not even swing the axe. What kind of father was he? Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Keys rattled. The door opened. The captain of the guard stood there. His face was hard, angry. "Explain yourself." Thorn looked up. "I told you. She is my daughter. You said your daughter died in the war." "I thought she did. I searched. I never found her." The captain crossed his arms. "Convenient. The executioner suddenly recognizes a traitor." "She is not a traitor." "She was caught with rebels. She carried messages. She helped them plan an attack on the king's supply lines. The evidence is clear. Thorn stood, his fists clenched. I do not care about evidence. I know my daughter. She would not. You do not know her at all. The captain stepped closer. You lost her 17 years ago. She is not the child you remember. She is a grown woman, a criminal, and she will die for her crimes. No. The word came out like a growl. The king has already decided. Another executioner will carry out the sentence tomorrow at dawn. Thorn's heart stopped. Tomorrow? You refused your duty, so another will take it. The captain turned to leave. Wait. Thorn's voice cracked. Let me see her. Please, just once. The captain paused. He looked back. For a moment, something almost like pity crossed his face. 1 hour, that is all. They brought Thorn to a different cell, larger, with a small window high on the wall. Moonlight streamed through. Leora sat on a wooden bench. Her hands were no longer tied. Her head was bowed. Her hair fell forward, hiding her face. She looked up when he entered. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Thorn saw his wife in her face. Elena's nose, Elena's cheekbones. But the eyes were his, and the stubborn set of her jaw. She was beautiful, strong, alive. Papa? The word was barely a whisper. Leora. He wanted to run to her, hold her, never let go. But he stood frozen. The guard closed the door behind him, locked it. 1 hour. Thorn moved slowly, like she might disappear if he moved too fast. He sat on the bench across from her. I thought you were dead, he said. His voice broke. Tears ran down her cheeks. I thought you were too. What happened? After the river? Leora wiped her face, took a shaky breath. I woke up on the riverbank, miles downstream. A woman found me. She was a healer. She lived alone in the forest. She took me in, cared for me. Did you tell her about me? I tried to, but I could not remember much. The water, the cold, hitting my head on the rocks. Everything was blurry. I knew I had a father. I knew he was looking for me. But I could not remember where we lived. I could not remember your name. Thorn's chest tightened. How long? 2 years. Then the memories started coming back. Pieces, images, your face, the forge, Mama's grave. She looked at him. I went looking for you. I went back to the village, but it was destroyed. Everyone said you died in the fighting. I looked for you. Thorn's hands shook. I never stopped looking. I know. I believe you. She reached across the space between them, touched his hand. Her fingers were warm, real. He grabbed her hand, held tight, the scar on her wrist pressed against his palm. I became the executioner so I could stay in the capital, he said. So I could see every prisoner, every face, in case you were alive, in case you came here. Leora's eyes widened. You have been killing for the king? Yes. She pulled her hand away, stood, walked to the window. Leora. How many? Her voice was cold now. What? How many people have you killed? Thorn stood slowly. I do not know. I stopped counting. Rebels? Some. Thieves. Murderers. Traitors. She turned. Her eyes burned with anger. People like me? You are not a traitor. Yes, I am. She lifted her chin. I joined the rebellion 3 years ago. I have carried messages. I have helped plan attacks. I have stolen supplies. I have done everything they say I did. Thorn felt like the floor dropped away. Why? Because the king is a monster. She stepped closer. He taxes the poor until they starve. He burns villages that do not obey. He executes anyone who speaks against him. He took you and turned you into a killer. He gave me a chance to live. He turned you into a weapon, and you pointed yourself at innocent people. They were not innocent. The law is unjust, her voice rose. The law serves the rich and crushes everyone else. You know this. You must know this. Thorn wanted to argue, to defend himself, but the words died in his throat. Because she was right. He had seen it, year after year. Prisoners brought to the block. Some deserved it, but many did not. Hungry people who stole bread, sick people who could not pay taxes, scared people who spoke too loud. He killed them all. He told himself he had no choice. He told himself it was survival. But maybe he was just a coward. Leora's anger faded. She looked tired, small. I do not blame you, Papa. You did what you had to do, just like I did. I will get you out. Thorn moved toward her. I will find a way. There is no way. There is always a way. Papa. She took his hands, looked into his eyes. I am going to die tomorrow. We both know it. No, he shook his head. No, I just found you. I cannot lose you again. You never lost me. She smiled, sad, soft. I have been here all along, in the kingdom, under the same sky. Maybe we passed each other in the streets. Maybe we stood in the same crowd. We just did not know. That is not enough. It has to be. Thorn pulled her into his arms. She buried her face in his chest. He felt her tears soak through his shirt. He held her like he did when she was small, when nightmares woke her, when thunder scared her. I am sorry, he whispered. I am so sorry. I know. Her voice was muffled. I know. They stood like that until the guard returned. Time is up. Leora pulled away. She touched her father's face. Thank you for looking for me. I will never stop. She smiled, but her eyes were full of goodbye. The guard took Thorn's arm, led him away. He looked back once. Leora stood in the moonlight, beautiful, brave, lost to him again. But this time, he would not let her go. Thorn was not a smart man. He knew this. He worked with his hands. He followed orders. He did not scheme. But desperation makes men clever. He sat in his cell, thought, planned. They would execute Leora at dawn. A different executioner would do it. The crowd would watch. The king would smile. Unless. Thorn stood, paced. His mind raced. He knew the prison layout. He had walked these halls 1,000 times, bringing prisoners up, taking bodies down. He knew the guards, their shifts, their habits. He knew the weaknesses. He just needed help. At midnight he heard footsteps. A guard stopped outside his cell. Young, nervous, a man named Callum. Thorn had trained him years ago, taught him to hold the sword properly, to stand in formation. Callum. Thorn moved to the bars. The young guard looked around. I should not be here. But you are. Callum shifted. His hand rested on his sword. What you did today, on the platform, people are talking. What are they saying? That you are brave, that you chose love over duty. He paused. That you are a fool. Maybe I am all three. Callum stepped closer. His voice dropped. I have a sister. She is 14. If she were in that cell, I would do anything to save her. Thorn's pulse quickened. Anything? The guard looked at him. Really looked. Then he reached for his keys. The shift changes at 4 in the morning. There will be 10 minutes when the halls are empty. The door to the east courtyard is old. The lock is broken. No one has fixed it. Why are you telling me this? Callum unlocked the cell, swung the door open. Because the world needs more men who refuse to swing the axe. He walked away before Thorn could respond. Thorn stood in the open doorway. His heart pounded. This was a trap. It had to be. But what choice did he have? He moved into the hallway. Quiet, careful. His bare feet made no sound on the stone. He knew where Leora's cell was. 3rd floor, north wing. He had memorized the path. He climbed the stairs, checked each corner. The prison was silent. Most guards were asleep. The prisoners, too. He reached her door. It was locked. Of course. He needed the keys. But then he noticed something. The lock was old, rusted. He had made locks like this in his blacksmith days. He pulled a thin piece of metal from the hem of his shirt, a gift from Callum, maybe. Or maybe he had hidden it there years ago. He could not remember. He worked the lock, slowly, patiently. His fingers remembered the skill even if his mind did not. Click. The door opened. Leora was asleep on the bench, curled on her side. Her hair covered her face. Leora. He touched her shoulder. She woke instantly, sat up. Her eyes went wide. Papa? How? No time. We have to go. Go where? There is nowhere. Trust me. She hesitated. Then she nodded. They moved through the hallways together. Father and daughter, executioner and rebel. 2 ghosts in the dark. They reached the east courtyard door. Just like Callum said, the lock was broken. Thorn pushed. The door swung open. Cold air hit them. The sky was still dark, but the horizon was turning gray. Dawn was coming. This way. Thorn led her along the wall, toward the gate. There would be guards, but maybe— Stop! A voice shouted behind them. Torches flared to life. Thorn's heart sank. 20 guards surrounded them, swords drawn. The captain stepped forward. His face was twisted with rage. I knew you would try something. Thorn pushed Leora behind him. Let her go. This is my fault. Punish me. Oh, I will, the captain smiled. But she dies first, so you can watch. No! Thorn lunged. The guards grabbed him, forced him to his knees. One pressed a sword to his throat. Leora struggled, but they held her tight. Take them both to the platform, the captain ordered. We will have a double execution, father and daughter. It will be quite the show. They dragged them through the courtyard, up the stairs, to the wooden platform. The crowd was already gathering. Word had spread fast. Thorn's mind raced. There had to be a way, some trick, but there was nothing. He had failed. Again. They tied Thorn to a post on the platform. His hands were bound behind him. He could not move, could not fight. Leora knelt at the execution block, her head down, her hair loose. The new executioner stood ready. A large man, masked. His axe was sharp. The captain addressed the crowd. This man refused his duty. He betrayed the king. And this woman is a traitor to the crown. Both will die. The crowd roared. Some cheered, some booed. Thorn could not tell the difference. He pulled against the ropes. They cut into his wrists. Blood ran down his hands. Leora! He shouted. Leora, look at me! She lifted her head. Tears streamed down her face. I love you, he called. I never stopped. I never— Silence him, the captain gestured. A guard shoved a cloth in Thorn's mouth, tied it tight. No, no, no! The executioner raised his axe. Thorn screamed against the gag. His vision blurred, his heart shattered. But then, something happened. An arrow flew through the air. It hit the executioner in the shoulder. He stumbled, dropped the axe. The crowd scattered, screaming, running. More arrows, from the rooftops, from the alleys. Rebels, a dozen of them, maybe more. They swarmed the platform, fought the guards, freed the prisoners. A woman cut Leora's ropes, pulled her to her feet. "Run!" the woman shouted. But Leora did not run. She turned, ran to Thorn, cut his bonds. He pulled the gag from his mouth, gasped for air. "We have to go!" Leora grabbed his hand. They ran, through the chaos, through the fighting. Arrows flew, swords clashed, blood spilled. Thorn saw the captain. The man was shouting orders, trying to rally his guards. Their eyes met. The captain's face filled with hate. But Thorn did not care. He ran with his daughter, into the streets, into the city, into the unknown. They did not stop until they reached the edge of the capital. The rebel woman led them to a safe house, a small building hidden in a maze of alleys. Inside, a dozen rebels waited, some wounded, some tired, all determined. "Who are you?" Thorn asked the woman. "My name is Serafina." She was tall, strong, scarred. "I lead this cell." "Why did you save us?" Serafina looked at Leora. "Because she is one of ours, and we do not leave our people behind." Leora hugged the woman. "Thank you. Rest now. We move at nightfall." Thorn and Leora sat in a corner, away from the others. "You knew they would come," Thorn said. Leora nodded. "I sent a message before they arrested me. I did not think it would reach them in time. You should have told me. I did not know if I could trust you. You were the executioner." "I am your father first." She leaned against him. "I know that now." Thorn put his arm around her, held her close. She felt small again, like the child he lost. But she was not a child. She was a warrior, a rebel, a woman who fought for what she believed. He was proud of her, and terrified for her. "What happens now?" he asked. "We leave the capital, join the main rebel force, keep fighting." "They will hunt us." "I know. They will never stop." "Then we will never stop either." Thorn closed his eyes. He had spent 17 years serving the king, killing in his name, searching for his daughter, and now he had found her. But to keep her, he had to become what he hunted: a rebel, a traitor, an enemy of the crown. So be it. They left the capital that night, 15 rebels, all on foot, moving through the darkness. Thorn walked beside Leora. His body ached. He was not young anymore, not strong like he used to be, but he kept pace. Serafina led them through forests, over hills, along rivers. She knew the land, every hidden path, every safe place. "How long have you been fighting?" Thorn asked her. 10 years, she said, "since the king's soldiers burned my village." "My village burned too." She looked at him. Understanding passed between them. "Then you know why we fight." He did. They traveled for 3 days, sleeping in caves, eating dried meat and stale bread, drinking from streams. On the 4th day, they reached the rebel camp. It was hidden in a valley, surrounded by mountains, hundreds of tents, thousands of people, men, women, children, all refugees, all fighters. "This is home," Serafina said. Leora smiled. "It is more than I remembered." They were greeted by the rebel leaders, a council of 5, 3 men, 2 women, all scarred by war. "So this is the executioner," one man said. His name was Ronan. He was missing an eye. "I am no longer the executioner," Thorn replied. "Then what are you?" "A father, a blacksmith, a man who wants to fight." Ronan studied him. "You have killed our people." "I have. I cannot undo that. But I can help you now." "Why should we trust you?" "Because I know the king's guard, their tactics, their weaknesses. I have been inside the palace. I know the layout, the defenses." The council exchanged glances. And, Thorn added, I know how to make weapons. Good ones. I was a blacksmith before I was an executioner. I can arm your people. Ronan smiled. Grim. Dangerous. Welcome to the rebellion. Thorn built a forge at the edge of the camp. It was crude, made of stone and clay. But it worked. He spent his days there, hammering metal, shaping swords, making arrowheads. Leora helped him. She worked the bellows, sharpened blades. She was good at it. Do you remember? Thorn asked. When you were small, you used to sit by the forge and watch me work. I remember. Mama would bring us lunch. We would eat in the shade of the oak tree. Thorn's chest tightened. She would be proud of you. Would she? Yes. You fight for what is right. That takes courage. Leora set down the blade she was sharpening. I killed a man once. Thorn looked at her. He was a guard. He caught me sneaking into a supply depot. He was going to sound the alarm. So I stabbed him. Her voice was flat, empty. He died slowly. He cried for his mother. I held his hand until he stopped breathing. Leora. I think about him every day. His face, his fear. I wonder if he had a family, a daughter, someone who loved him. Thorn set down his hammer, moved to her. War makes us do terrible things. Does that make it right? No, but it makes it necessary. She looked at him. Her eyes were haunted. How many people have you killed, Papa? Too many. Do you think about them? Every day. She leaned into him. He held her. The forge fire burned hot beside them. Smoke rose into the sky. We carry them with us, Thorn said quietly. The people we have killed, their weight, their names. We carry them until we die, and maybe that is our punishment. Maybe that is how we pay. I do not want to kill any more, Leora whispered. Then we will end this war, so no one else has to. She nodded against his chest. But Thorn knew it was a lie. Wars did not end. They just paused, caught their breath, and started again. 6 weeks later, the king's army found them. They came at dawn, 500 soldiers, cavalry, archers, siege engines. The rebels had 300 fighters, farmers, blacksmiths, mothers and fathers, people who learned to fight because they had to. It was not enough. We cannot win this, Ronan said. The council gathered in the command tent, maps spread across the table. We do not have to win, Serafina replied. We just have to survive. How? We split up, scatter into the mountains, regroup later. They will hunt us down. Some of us, not all. Thorn studied the map. There is another way. Everyone looked at him. The king's army is large, but they rely on supply lines, food, water, weapons. Cut those lines, and they starve. We do not have the numbers for that, Ronan said. We do not need numbers. We need speed and surprise. Thorn pointed to the map. Their supply wagons come through this pass 3 times a week. We hit them there, burn the wagons, kill the drivers, make them afraid to resupply. Serafina leaned forward. That could work. It is a risk. Everything is a risk. Ronan nodded slowly. Who leads the attack? I will, Thorn said. Leora stood. I am coming with you. No. Yes. Leora. You do not get to protect me anymore, Papa. I am a fighter. I go where I am needed. Thorn wanted to argue, to lock her in a tent, to keep her safe. But he saw the fire in her eyes, the determination, the strength. She was not his little bird anymore. She was a hawk. Fine, he said, but you stay close to me. She smiled. Always. They left that night. 20 rebels. Thorn led them. Leora walked beside him. They moved fast, silent, through the darkness. The pass was narrow, rocky, perfect for an ambush. They set traps, pitfalls covered with branches, ropes stretched across the path, jars of oil ready to light. Then they waited. The supply wagons came at dawn, 10 of them, pulled by horses, guarded by 30 soldiers. Thorn gave the signal. The rebels attacked. Arrows flew, soldiers fell, horses screamed. Thorn ran into the fight. He carried a sword now, not an axe. It felt better, lighter. He fought like he was young again, like he had something to prove. A soldier came at him. Thorn blocked, countered, drove his blade through the man's chest. The soldier's eyes went wide. He fell. Thorn did not stop. He kept moving, kept fighting. Leora was a blur of motion, fast, deadly. She moved like a dancer, every strike precise, every step calculated. She killed 3 men before Thorn could blink. The rebels set the wagons on fire, flames roared into the sky, smoke filled the pass. The remaining soldiers fled. The rebels cheered. But Thorn felt no joy. He looked at the bodies. 15 soldiers, dead. Blood soaked the ground. "We did it!" Leora ran to him. Her face was flushed, excited. "Yes." His voice was hollow. Her smile faded. "Papa?" "I am fine. We should go." They returned to camp victorious. The rebels celebrated. Songs, laughter, hope. But Thorn sat alone, away from the fire. Leora found him. "You are not happy." "I have killed again." "They were the enemy." "I know, but I am tired, Leora. Tired of death, tired of blood. I wanted to be done with it." She sat beside him. "You saved lives today, our people. That matters." "Does it?" "Yes." Thorn looked at her. "What happens when this is over? If we win, what do we become?" "Free." "And if we lose?" "Dead." He almost smiled. "You are honest." "I learned from you." They sat in silence. The stars shone above them, bright, endless. "Do you ever wish things were different?" Leora asked. "That the war never happened? That Mama was alive? That we were still in our village?" "Every day." "Me too." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "But I am glad I found you again." "So am I, little bird." She smiled at the old nickname. "I am not so little anymore." "No, but you will always be my little bird." They sat together until the fire burned low, until the camp grew quiet, until sleep pulled them under. But someone was watching, from the shadows, waiting. The attack came 3 nights later. Thorn woke to screams. He grabbed his sword, ran outside. The camp was burning, soldiers everywhere, cutting down tents, killing rebels. The king's army had found them. But how? "Leora!" Thorn shouted. He ran through the chaos, searching. Panic clawed at his chest. He found her fighting 3 soldiers. She moved like lightning, but she was tiring. Thorn charged, killed 1 soldier from behind, drove another back. Leora finished the 3rd. "We have to get out!" she yelled. "This way!" They ran. Others followed, a group of 20, maybe 30, fleeing into the forest. Arrows chased them, swords, fire. They did not stop until they reached the river. The same river where Thorn lost Leora 17 years ago. Full circle. They crossed. The water was cold, fast, but they made it. On the other side, they collapsed, gasping, bleeding. "How did they find us?" someone asked. "A spy," Ronan said. His face was cut, his arm broken. "Someone told them." "Who?" "I do not know, but we will find them." Thorn looked back at the camp. Flames lit the sky. The screams had stopped. The battle was over. They had lost. "How many survived?" he asked. 50, maybe less. Out of 300. Thorn's heart sank. Leora touched his arm. "We will rebuild." "How?" "We always do." But Thorn was not sure. He was so tired, so old. How much more could he give? They built a new camp, smaller, hidden deeper in the mountains. 50 rebels, all that remained. They mourned their dead, buried their wounded, sharpened their blades, and searched for the spy. Ronan questioned everyone, one by one, trying to find cracks, lies. Thorn watched, helped when he could. But something nagged at him. A memory, a detail. The night of the attack. How the soldiers knew exactly where to strike. The command tent, the armory, the escape routes. Only someone who lived in the camp would know those things. Someone who had been there for weeks. Thorn's blood ran cold. He found Seraphina sharpening a blade by the fire. "I need to ask you something," he said quietly. "What?" "The night of the attack, you were on watch." "Yes." "Did you see anything? Anyone leaving the camp?" Seraphina paused, her eyes flicked up. "No." She was lying. Thorn saw it. The way her jaw tightened, the way her hand gripped the blade. "Seraphina, tell me the truth." She stood, slowly. Her hand moved to her sword. "I cannot." "Why?" "Because you will kill me." Thorn's world tilted. "It was you." She did not deny it. "Why?" His voice broke. "We trusted you. Leora trusted you." "I had no choice." Seraphina's face twisted with pain. "They have my son. The king's men took him 2 years ago. They said if I helped them, they would return him. If I did not, they would kill him." "So you killed us instead?" "I did what I had to do." She drew her sword. "For my child, just like you would do for yours." Thorn understood. Horribly. Completely. But it did not matter. She had betrayed them. 50 people were dead because of her. "Put down the sword," he said. "I cannot. If I do, you will kill me." "I will not." "Liar!" She lunged. Thorn blocked. Their swords clashed. Sparks flew. She was fast, strong, trained, but Thorn was desperate. They fought, back and forth, near the fire, near the edge of the camp. Leora heard the noise, came running. "Papa!" "Stay back!" Thorn shouted. But Seraphina saw an opening. She turned, swung at Leora. Thorn moved without thinking. He threw himself in front of his daughter. The blade cut deep into his side. Pain exploded. He fell. Leora screamed. Seraphina froze. Horror crossed her face. "I did not mean—" Leora grabbed Thorn's fallen sword, drove it through Seraphina's chest. The woman fell, gasping, dying. "My son," she whispered. "Tell him I tried." Then she was gone. Leora dropped the sword, fell to her knees beside her father. "Papa! Papa, stay with me!" Thorn's vision blurred. Blood soaked his shirt. Too much blood. "It is all right," he whispered. "No, no, you are not leaving me again." "Listen." He grabbed her hand. "You are strong, stronger than me. You will lead them. You will win." "I cannot do it without you." "Yes, you can." Rebels gathered around them. Ronan, others, their faces grim. "Get the healer!" Leora screamed. But Thorn knew. This wound was too deep, too wide. He was dying. He looked at his daughter, her green eyes, her beautiful face. "I am sorry," he said. "I should have held on tighter." In the river, I should have... Stop! You did everything you could. You found me. You saved me. I love you, little bird. I love you, Papa. He smiled, closed his eyes, and let go. They burned Thorn's body on a pyre, as was the custom. Leora stood at the front, flames reflected in her eyes. She did not cry, not yet. The rebels sang, old songs, sad songs, songs of warriors who fell in battle. Thorn had not been a warrior, not really. He had been a blacksmith, an executioner, a father. But in the end, he died protecting what he loved. That made him a hero. Ronan stepped forward. Thorn gave everything, his life, his soul, his future, so that we could fight another day. We honor him, we remember him, and we will finish what he started. The rebels raised their fists, shouted, a battle cry. Leora remained silent. After the ceremony, she walked into the forest, alone. She found a clearing, sat on a fallen log, looked at the sky. Her father was gone. Again. She had found him, held him, fought beside him, and lost him. The tears came then, hard, ugly, painful. She cried until she had nothing left, until her throat was raw, until the sun set. Then she stood, wiped her face. Her grief was hers, but her duty was theirs. She walked back to camp. The rebels watched her, waiting. She stepped onto a platform, looked at them all. "My father died for this rebellion," she said. Her voice was strong, clear. "He died so we could be free, so our children could grow up without fear, without kings who kill, without executioners who obey." The rebels listened. "But his death will mean nothing if we stop now, if we run, if we hide." She lifted her chin. "So we will not stop. We will fight. We will win. And when this war is over, we will build a world where no father has to choose between killing and dying, where no daughter has to lose her father twice." The rebels erupted, cheering, crying, believing. Ronan stepped forward. "What do you need from us?" Leora looked at him. "Everything." Leora took command. It surprised her how easy it was, how the rebels followed, listened, trusted. Maybe they saw her father in her, his strength, his determination, or maybe they just needed someone to believe in. She gathered the council, spread maps across the table. "The king's army is large," she said, "but it is slow, and it relies on fear. We will use that against them." "How?" Ronan asked. "We stop fighting battles. We start fighting a war." She pointed to the map. "Small attacks, hit and run, burn their supplies, kill their scouts, make them paranoid, make them weak. That will take time. We have time, they do not. Winter is coming. Their soldiers will freeze, starve, lose hope. And then? Then we strike. One final battle, at the capital. We take the palace. We end the king." The council exchanged glances. It was bold, dangerous, maybe impossible. But it was a plan. "What do you need?" Ronan asked. "More fighters, more weapons, more allies. The other rebel groups will not trust us, not after the attack. They will think we are weak. Then we show them we are not." Leora sent messengers to every rebel cell, every hidden village, every group that hated the king. She told them what happened, the betrayal, the loss, the survival, and she asked them to join. Some refused, some agreed, slowly, cautiously, but the rebellion grew. Winter came early that year. Snow covered the mountains, the rivers froze, the world turned white and silent. Leora led raids almost every night. Her group was small, fast, deadly. They hit supply convoys, burned outposts, freed prisoners. The king's army grew desperate, angry. They sent hunting parties, assassins, spies. But Leora was always one step ahead. She learned to think like her father, to see the patterns, to predict the moves. She became a legend, the executioner's daughter, the woman who could not be killed. But legends are dangerous. They make you believe you are invincible. One night, Leora received a message. A supply convoy was traveling through the East Pass. Lightly guarded, easy target. It was too easy. "It is a trap," Ronan said. "I know." "Then we do not go." "Yes, we do." Leora smiled. "Grim, dangerous. But we spring it on our terms." She took 20 fighters. They traveled through the night, reached the pass at dawn. The convoy was there, just like the message said. 10 wagons, 20 guards, too few guards. Leora raised her hand, signaled her fighters to wait. They watched, silent, hidden. After an hour, the trap revealed itself. 50 soldiers emerged from hiding spots, surrounding the convoy, waiting for the rebels to attack. Leora smiled. She had brought a surprise of her own. She gave the signal. Archers rose from the trees, 50 of them, from allied rebel groups. They fired. Arrows rained down. Soldiers fell, screaming, dying. The king's men panicked, broke formation, ran. The rebels charged. Swords, axes, fury. The battle was short, brutal, one-sided. When it was over, 70 soldiers lay dead. The rebels lost 5. Leora stood in the center of the carnage, blood on her face, fire in her eyes. "Send a message to the king," she told a captured soldier. "Tell him the executioner's daughter is coming for him, and she will not miss." Spring came, the snow melted, the world woke up, and the rebellion marched on the capital. 2,000 fighters from every corner of the kingdom. Farmers, miners, merchants, mothers, fathers, children old enough to hold a sword. They were not soldiers, but they were determined. Leora led them. She rode at the front, her father's sword on her hip, his memory in her heart. The king sent his army to meet them, 5,000 soldiers, trained, armored, confident. The two forces met on a wide plain outside the capital. The ground was flat, open, no cover. It would be a bloodbath. Ronan rode beside Leora. "We are outnumbered 2-1. "I know." "We will lose." "Maybe, but we will make them remember us." She raised her sword. The rebels roared. The king's army charged. The rebels charged back. They collided in the middle of the field, metal on metal, screams, blood, chaos. Leora fought like a demon. She cut through soldiers, blocked, countered, moved. She saw Ronan fall, saw others die, saw the line breaking. But she did not stop. She pushed forward, toward the king's banner, toward the center of the army. If she could reach the commander, kill him, break their spirit. But someone reached her first. The captain, the man who tried to execute her, his face twisted with hate. "You!" he charged. Leora turned, blocked his strike. Their swords clashed. "You should have died on that platform," he snarled. "So should you." She kicked him back, swung. He dodged, countered, cut her arm. Pain flared, blood ran, but she did not fall. She thought of her father, his strength, his sacrifice. She fought harder, faster. The captain stumbled. She saw her opening. She drove her sword through his chest. He gasped, fell. Leora stood over him, breathing hard, bleeding. "For my father," she whispered. Then she kept fighting. The battle raged for hours. Bodies piled up. The ground turned red. But slowly, impossibly, The rebels gained ground. The king's soldiers began to retreat, back toward the capital, back toward the walls. The rebels chased them. They breached the gates, flooded the streets, fought door to door. Leora led a group to the palace. The king's guards tried to stop them, but they were few, tired. The rebels cut them down. Leora climbed the palace steps. Her body screamed with pain, cuts, bruises, exhaustion, but she climbed. At the top, the throne room doors stood open, golden, massive, mocking. She walked inside. The king sat on his throne, old, fat, afraid. "You," his voice shook. "Me," Leora stepped forward. "I can give you anything. Gold, land, power. Just let me live." "You took everything from me. My mother, my father, my childhood, my peace." "I am sorry." "You are not sorry. You are scared. There is a difference." She raised her sword. The king closed his eyes. But Leora hesitated. Her father's voice echoed in her mind. "Killing is easy. Living with it is hard." She lowered her sword. "I will not kill you," she said. The king's eyes flew open. "What?" "You will stand trial, in front of the people you hurt. They will decide your fate." "They will tear me apart." "Yes, but that is justice." She turned, walked away. Rebels flooded into the throne room. They grabbed the king, dragged him out. Leora stood in the empty room, alone. She had won. But it did not feel like victory. It felt like loss. 1 month later, the kingdom was different. The rebels formed a council. They began to rebuild, to heal. Leora helped, but her heart was not in it. She returned to the place where her father died, the clearing in the forest. Someone had built a marker, a simple stone, with his name carved into it. Thorn, father, blacksmith, hero. Leora knelt, placed flowers at the base, white daisies, his favorite. "I did it, Papa," she whispered. "We won. The king is gone. The people are free." The wind blew through the trees, soft, gentle. "But I miss you. Every day. I wish you were here to see it." She closed her eyes, felt the sun on her face. "I do not know what to do now. I am not a leader. I am just a girl who wanted her father back." Footsteps behind her. She turned. Ronan stood there, his arm in a sling, but alive. "The council wants you," he said. "Why?" "They want you to lead." Leora shook her head. "I cannot." "You already are." "I do not want power. I do not want responsibility. I just want—" "What?" She looked at the grave. "I just want him." Ronan sat beside her. "I lost my daughter in the war. She was 6. A soldier killed her because she cried too loud." Leora looked at him, saw the pain in his eyes. "I fight so no one else loses their daughter," he continued. "So no father has to bury his child. That is why I follow you, because you understand that." "I am scared." "Good. Fear keeps you honest." They sat in silence. The sun set. Stars came out. Finally, Leora stood. "I will lead," she said. "But only if we do it right. No kings, no executioners, just people. Helping people." Ronan smiled. "That is all we ever wanted." They walked back to the camp together. Behind them, the wind rustled the leaves. A soft whisper, like a father's voice, saying goodbye, saying he was proud. Leora did not look back, but she smiled. The kingdom was green again, peaceful. Children played in the streets, markets bustled, laughter filled the air. Leora stood in front of the memorial. It was larger now, A stone wall with 1,000 names carved into it, all the people who died in the war. Her father's name was at the top. A small hand tugged her dress. "Mama, who is that?" Leora looked down. Her daughter, 5 years old, green eyes, dark hair, a crescent moon scar on her wrist. Born that way. The healer said it was rare, a birthmark, but Leora knew better. It was a gift, a sign, a connection. "That is your grandfather," Leora said. "His name was Thorn." "Was he a hero?" "Yes, the best kind." "What kind is that?" Leora smiled, picked up her daughter, held her close. "The kind who chooses love over fear, even when it is hard, even when it costs everything." Her daughter thought about that. Then she nodded. "I want to be like him." "You will be, little bird. You already are." They stood together, mother and daughter, under the same sky, in a kingdom built on sacrifice, on hope, on love. The executioner had refused to swing his axe, and in doing so, he changed the world.